Hello, my friends, and welcome to a space where pleasure is treasured, relaxation is not what you think it is, and life firing on all cylinders is what we're about. If you are somebody who wakes up every day asking for way more, consider this your happy place. Welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. I'm your host, Heather Nichols. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creation of Living podcast. It's Heather Nichols here with you this week, and let's take a dive into bodies and change. It's been quite a time on the planet these days. You might have noticed if you are somebody who is a seeker, somebody who's drawn to these conversations, which you probably wouldn't be here if you were not. And I know a lot of people that are going through some big stuff right now. And I'm one of them. So much change. I feel like I'm sort of taking my whole life and like throwing it up in the air and being like, okay, let's see where this goes. Let's see what lands and how it lands and what I want to keep and what I want to let go of. And those moments can be super exciting. They can be really inviting. They can be enlivening. They can be, like stimulate our creativity and new possibilities. And they can also be stressful, And I think in conjunction with what's going on in my personal life, like my whole life, is also what's happening in the world and the universe. And so many people that I've been talking to are just either like kind of feeling at the end of their rope or feeling like, maybe they've just taken on a huge transition and they're navigating that, or, something needs to transition. There's just a lot of big stuff up in the air and moving for people right now. And I would say in the universe as well. And with the conversations that we've been having in Access Consciousness lately, there's some new tools, new conversations that are just world rocking and really kind of allowing a lot of people to get to some really deep stuff. So how do our bodies play into all of that? And how do our bodies actually, how can they contribute to that? And how do they also allow us to move in a different way, make change easier, and just like support us with everything going on? And, a lot of times when we have big change, our nervous systems can get kind of like overstimulated. You may feel like there's a lot going on and you might feel a little kind of sensitive or tired, or maybe just feeling a little bit like overwhelmed, or maybe more than a little overwhelmed. I know there are people out there feeling a lot overwhelmed. And so as that all occurs, it's like, what if your body could be a resource instead of a burden? And for a lot of people, when they go through change, their bodies go through change as well. And so sometimes it can kind of feel like it compounds, like it kind of makes things worse in a way if our bodies are also having a tough time. And then there's all these other things in our lives going on as well that are challenging. And so what does it take to really have your body be a resource in times of big, big change? So one of the things that's been showing up for me is just this real kind of reminder of how much we store in our bodies, in our tissue, in our cells, in our like energetic pathways in our bodies. We hold a lot of stories, we hold a lot of memory, we hold a lot of limitations where we hold ourselves back, things like that. And I find it just so incredible and so fascinating that we can make changes in our bodies that allow letting go and moving through some big change and transitions and stuff. We can make changes in our bodies that allow that to actually be easier. And a lot of times it's because there's this kind of like combination, of like stressful life change and, body stuff. And it kind of feels like they make things, they make each other worse. They, like exacerbate each other in a way. And what if your body was where, if you could be unwinding things in your body that actually just really effortlessly unwound things in your life? And that is, it's such a juicy playground to play on. And so I've been doing a lot of unwinding in my own body. I've been receiving some really phenomenal body work recently, and just really listening to my body and what it's asking for in that way. And I find that I've been releasing some very old, very, very young, like put in place when I was very little patterns in my body that are just like unfurling all these things, a lot of energies, a lot of movement, I mean, I've been actually having a fair amount of tears just flowing. And a lot of times, when we cry, it's not really a story to tell as much it is our body's releasing. And I know that, and my body's been doing a lot of releasing through tears, which has been amazing. When we allow our bodies to release through tears, especially if you don't have to put a story on it. Sometimes tears may have a story, but quite often, I would say most of the time from what I've seen, when tears flow, it's the body just letting go. And if we don't have to like make it significant or tell a story to ourselves or anybody else about it, then we can just let it move. We can let the tears move, and it's not emotion, it's not sadness, it's not, anything. It's just like my body's letting go right now. And when you just acknowledge that your body's letting go, then there's just something that is so much easier about, how that, uh, like it just lets go easier, if you don't have to give it a whole story or make it significant. And that can really facilitate the unwinding of stuff and letting go of like energetic pathways and patterns that we hold on to in our bodies. When our bodies are able to release, whether it's through tears or, just maybe some energy work, some body work, movement, breath work. There's lots of ways that our bodies can release. And when they are able to, then it's like the patterns, the trauma, drama, the stories, the upset, the stress, all those things happening in our lives that don't really seem like they directly concern our bodies, they kind of just roll on by, roll on out, and they change. Um, okay, somebody's calling me. That's a really funny thing. I forgot to close my WhatsApp when I started recording this. That's hilarious. So, anyway, I thought I turned everything off, but apparently I didn't. So we, so yeah, so when you let go with your body, you can let go everywhere. And also when you're willing to let go in other areas of your life, like just let go of holding patterns, of stress patterns, of old ways of doing things that don't serve you anymore, of choosing the same thing over and over, of being unwilling to choose something new. There's so many different ways that we can let go. Then also it can facilitate our bodies in letting go as well. So it kind of, again, it goes both ways. And I've done tons and tons of podcasts speaking about change and the energetics of change and creation. And I don't want to dive too much into that right now, but I will say, please check out all the stuff I've done on Creation of Living podcast and also the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. But what I will say is that, if you are asking for something different in your life, you've got to choose something different. And I've been really seeing that for myself. It's like there's so many things that I've been desiring to be different. And I've just kind of felt a little bit like in a little bit of a rut with some stuff, and just kind of like knowing that I want to maybe like move out of my house or sell my house or something like that. And it's like, okay, but just like taking the action to start to make that happen has been not so, it hasn't been so, um, so easy to do. And it's like, and so it's interesting because when we're not willing to choose things that are really different, and just be like, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know how this is going to go. I just need to choose something different, do something different, have some different energies moving in my life toward something greater, and different kind of like a transition or whatever. And as we do that, there's just so much that begins to open up. It's our choice to actually take a step forward and move the energies through that step forward that we take, or those 8 million steps, or whatever it is, the choices that we make. That as we do that, we are just like constantly opening doors all over the place for all kinds of new stuff to show up, different stuff to show up. And one of the things that I've really seen in my life and with other people as well recently is just, again, a reminder that if you get a little stuck, if you're not making new choices and moving the energy constantly, it doesn't mean you have to be in movement all the time, but just always in question, basically, always in question, always in choice, exploring new possibilities, wondering about things, having a creative impulse that's like healthy and alive, that isn't stunted by our judgments about what is and is not possible. As we keep the movement going, it's like we're constantly creating greater futures. And 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 sometimes when you haven't been doing that for a while, you may find a period of kind of stagnation, because there just hasn't been movement. And movement, choice, questions, new possibilities, doing different things, choosing different things. It creates a different future, and it may not show up right away, but the future will be there when you get there. You're creating it ahead of yourself. And so from here and from now, but you're kind of casting all these energies out into the future. And so with that, it's like we, if you are feeling a little stagnant, or, maybe you've just made a big change, but if you are feeling like things are kind of not moving like you would like them to, what else can you add? What else can you choose? What other kind of like chaos can you instill into your own life choices, what you be, how you show up in the world? Be something different. Be something that makes you uncomfortable. Be something that makes other people uncomfortable. Choose something that makes you and other people uncomfortable. Like for me right now, I'm like, okay, well, I might sell my house. I might rent it out. I might move out of it. We'll see. But that feels like, oh, that's kind of a big choice that I've been desiring to make for quite a while. And now it's time, and it's like, do I know where I'm going? No. Do I know if I'm even going to move out of this house? No. I just know that it's time for me to take the steps toward that. And so to come, circle back to the body and bring it into the mix more. It's like, as we start to change these things that are deeper held patterns, or make choices that we haven't been willing to make before, it's like our body can actually show up to be a resource for us in a different way. And from what I've seen in my own world, like, first of all, I really take impeccable care of my body, and that's a huge priority of mine. And it's just something that it's like I won't budge on that. Like I won't it's not a conclusion, but I'm not willing to give that up. I'm not willing to give up the level of care that I have and take of my body. And so and it can look a million different ways. I do receive a lot of body work. I move my body a lot. I eat very clean and all those things, and I just do. It's a high priority for me. And so that alone for me allows my body to be like, okay, cool, I'm ready. Like I'm resourced, I'm alive, I'm like not just alive, like alive as in not dead, but like alive, alive, you know? I'm resourced, I'm strong, I'm alive, I'm like, let's go, you know? So my body's like, cool, let's go. Like, you want me to start packing stuff up or, you know, or even just that's the physical part of it. But also like the energetic part, which is way more of like the ways that our bodies can help us to have clarity about choices we would like to make and how we would like to move. And so when our bodies are resourced in that way, we give them what they're asking for. Let's just say it like that. We give them what they require to feel really nourished. When that's the case, then our bodies are like, they're here and they're ready, you know? And so for me, I'm always checking in with my body. So here's one thing that you can do. When you want to ask a question and you want to consult your body, like, hey, body, you know, how's this, like, does this seem like a good choice? You know, you can stand on your feet, and usually when a body leans forward, it's a yes. When it leans back, it's a no. And you can just stand and you can go, okay, body, like, do you want to move out of this house? You know, and it's like, yes. My body's like, yes. Okay, cool. You know, and it doesn't make any sense. My house is amazing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's in an incredible location, like all those things. My body's ready to move out of this house. I just asked it. It said yes, you know, and it said yes I wasn't standing, but it was, the energy went here. It went forward. And it was like, body, do you want to stay in this house? You know, and it kind of goes back because the energy goes into the back of my body. And so that is one of the ways, a very simple way that we can get our bodies to, like, we can just sort of practice being in conversation with our bodies more, because our bodies have so much information about the physical world, and the physical world is for them. Like where you live, it's your body's choice, really. Like it's your body's call, you know. My body has created two really amazing cars over the past two cars that I've had. My body created them, you know. I've told the story of that on other podcasts, so I won't go into it. But my body asked for a new car. I was kind of like, well, financially not a great time, you know. But then it was like, I was like, but body, if you want to create it, go for it. And then it just did, you know. And then the car was there, and it was a done deal. So so there's all these different you know, ways that are like all these, the physical reality, where you live, if you travel, if so, how much, how you travel, where you travel to, you know, where you stay when you travel, like even sometimes some classes that you do, you know, if you take classes, or, you know, just choosing to maybe work with somebody or whatever. It's like all those things are, they're really like, it's not always our body the one making the choice, but particularly when it's a physical choice, what to eat, what to wear, who to have sex with, you know, how to move your body, where you're going to go, all those things, they're really matters. They're matters of your body, and your body, your life will be easier and your body will be happier if you consult your body with that. And when it comes to making big change and handling a lot of transition, there's more choices. And in a big change period, big transition period, there's more choices than kind of usual. Now, if you use the tools of access consciousness really dynamically, hopefully you're making choices all day long, you know, lots of choices, you know. And like for me, I do, and I do make a lot of choices, and it was time for me to start making a lot more and very different choices. And so, you know, I've been doing that. And so it's like having your body as a resource to be able to consult with, instead of fight, judge, work against, wish it wasn't such a problem, wish it wasn't such a burden, wish it wasn't in pain or sick or as fat as it is, or whatever, dysfunctional in some way. It's like all those things are judgments that keep you separated from your body. It doesn't get to be a resource for you, giving you guidance, giving you cues, giving you, like, being your creative muse and your creative partner. It doesn't get to be a resource for you if you're fighting it. If you are not fighting it, if you're contributing to it and you're gifting it and you're really giving it what it's asking for, which takes courage, because a lot of times our bodies ask for things where, like, I don't have the money for that, or that's one example, or I don't want to go out with that person, but my body does, I don't want to go there, but my body actually gets it would be a good idea. I don't really want to eat that, but my body does, I'd rather eat chocolate ice cream than salad, but my body wants salad, and maybe it wants ice cream, sometimes it's ice cream that your body wants. But even just having the clarity of what that is like, it's an ongoing process and exploration. And so we have to lower our barriers to our bodies, have more questions with them, and just have gratitude. Like, would you be willing to have gratitude for your body and all that it, like, does, all that it handles, all that it kind of, like, puts up with? Like, would you be willing to have gratitude for that and for your body, and really let it like have this beautiful co-creative relationship? Now, one of the things that I love to explore is how all of these conversations show up through our awareness of our bodies and movement. Not, doesn't have to be like dancing or exercising or whatever, but just the movements that we do all the time. We're moving all the time. I'm moving right now as I'm talking to you. Little movements going on. Movement can be this incredible. It gives us it can be like a stimulus for some really amazing sensations in our bodies, and also just like, yeah, it can have this. It can give us this sense of just really like it's just a rich resource and gift. And exploring how we hold our bodies, like posture, things like that, how we hold our bodies, how we move our bodies through space. Do you move collapsed? Do you move hunched over? Do you move, kind of always, do you puff your chest out? Do you, keep your eyes down? Do you, like, how do you bring yourself to the world, and how is your body participating in that? How does your body influence how you bring yourself to the world? And what's the gift? How do you use your body to limit you? How do you use your body to expand possibilities? This is like, now I'm starting to kind of go almost, vague in a way, because there's just so many different things to explore with this. And one of the classes that I do, and I do it in lots of different formats, it's a taster, like online taster, or in live taster, shorter class, or a one-day class. And I'm also going to start doing it as a semi-private intensive with a number of women, or people, I guess. It might be more of a we'll see if it's open to women, men. I'm getting both, actually. So let's just say people. But it's called Having Your Own Back. And it's this exploration of the back of your body as this beautiful, amazing, strong force and source of presence, and like allowing you to really explore the world, and to hold yourself in a way that is true for you, that works for you, where you feel resourced with your body. You feel like the choices and the decisions that you're making are coming from you. And when we collapse our bodies, and we diminish our bodies, and we hate our bodies, it's like it's one of your greatest assets that is not working for you, it's working against you. And so we explore in this Having Your Own Back universe, what is it like to have your own back in a very very embodied way, like through your body, with your body, really like inhabiting your body and letting it hold you, letting it be open, not having to shrink from the rest of the world, navigating change with this openness, a sense of vulnerability, a sense of power and presence and choice, navigating transitions, knowing what it is that we would like to choose, and allowing our bodies to unwind as we unwind the stuck patterns, allowing them to open as we open, allowing them to get strong as we get strong, allowing them to be supple as we become more supple, allowing them to have clarity as we have more clarity. And it's just this incredible universe to explore when we really start to include our bodies and explore these energies and sensations through our bodies, and then we get to have it more. It's like you get to embody those energies more, and then you show up in your own life and your body's right there and you're right there with your body, and then wow, what becomes available from there is so powerful and so profound. And this is one of my favorite things to explore. I was a somatic psychotherapist and a movement therapist for many years, about 13 years, long time ago. And I still do some of that work. And I love bringing it into what I do now. It's so beautiful to have transformation, change, choice, transition, big change, little change, stuckness, whatever it is that you're dealing with and asking for, really inclusive of your body, and to draw upon your body as a resource in a major way for that. And the access consciousness body processes for me are they're a very powerful, energetic piece of that as well. But this having your own back universe is, it's a newer creation of mine. I've done some live classes in other parts of the world that were just so loved and appreciated. People just raved and got so much out of these classes, and a real sense of being with their bodies in a different way, and being empowered in a different way, and having clarity with themselves in a different way. I would just love to see so much more of that in the world. So I invite you to just the having your own back universe. I'm going to be doing an online having your own back taste. That's coming up September 16th. And if you see this after the fact, you can probably get it in my shop. And then I'm going to be doing the having your own back class in Kuwait in October. And I'm going to be doing a taster in Slovenia in November, and probably some other places in Europe in November. I'm going to be in Prague. I'm going to be in Croatia again. So I'll probably put some of those classes up in other places as well for live in body classes. And then also I'm going to be having some, like I mentioned, the semi-privates, like 4 to 6 people coming together for 2 days and exploring the universe that this is. So I invite you to just come and play, explore the universe of having your own back, explore what that is for you, explore your body as a profound resource for change, for transformation, for clarity, for knowing, for joy, for orgasmic living, all the things. There's so many ways that our bodies can make our lives greater if we allow them to, and facilitate the ease of things, including big change. And I would love to have a world where there's a lot more of that. So thank you for you and your body, and thank you for being here and listening, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Creation of Living podcast. If this conversation was inspiring to you, share the love. To work privately with me or for info on my upcoming classes and retreats, go to heathernichols.com. Have a beautiful day, and remember that the world thrives when you do.